Morning. Happy Friday, folks. Happy Friday. I am Wanda of Wanda Budgets and Beyond here with a brief, I say that every time, but of course, brief article. It is from AARP, dated May 14th this year, of course, written by Nicole Ridgway. And the topic is, or the title of the article is, Americans say they'll need 1.5 million to retire. They've saved only 88,000. Okay. So as you know, there are lots of different things, articles out here with regards to retirement and the magic number. And in this article, it is saying, I think it said 1.46 million. They just rounded up to 1.5 is going to be needed to retire. So instead of bearing the lead, I am going to give you my takeaways from this particular story. Um, what do you want retirement to look like for you? Or you and your husband, or you and your significant other, long-time companion, et cetera, et cetera. What do you want that to look like for you? And from there, for me, that is what I will, you know, that is the number in my brain that I will try to get to. And of course, to get to that number, you're going to have to do some calculations. I wrote down a few notes so that I didn't get off course too too far. So, what do you want retirement to look like? Well, first of all, we don't know whether we're going to be here tomorrow or the next day, but I understand the planning, for the future, planning for a rainy day. Of course, it is planning for an emergency, something that has not happened already, etc. So you're planning in advance. And of course, if you're planning for your retirement, that is something that you are planning for in advance. What do you want it to look like? So, like I said, you're going to have to get down and write some numbers down. What do you want retirement to look like for you? Do you do you want to travel yourself if you've never traveled or you've traveled a little bit and it may be within the United States or outside of the United States? What does that traveling look like to you? Do you want to do a lot of it? Do you want to do one international trip per year? Do you have a list of places you want to go that are on your bucket list, etc.? Kind of sort of do an estimate of the cost. Do you want to travel with your grandkids? Do you want to move some other place? And you may do the move before you retire. Of course, you're going to have to write down those figures also. And two, do you want to start a business in retirement? Do you want to go and do some type of mission or volunteer work, possibly on your own dime, because they may not have programs that fit your particular age group? And if they do and they subsidize it, et cetera, or subsidize some of it or most of it, then that is all the better, all the better. But if you want to do some type of mission work abroad, maybe on your own dime, that do you want to golf all the time? Do you want to go on cruises all the time? Do you want to go back to school to get a degree or a certification or something or another that you've been wanting to do like your whole life, and this life, the life that you live got in the way, etc.? Do you want to leave an inheritance, some type of generational wealth to your children and or grandchildren? So if there is a magic number, I think for me, I will get to decide what that magic number is going to be based on those particular factors. If I'm thinking right now, what is my magic number? It don't have to be all of these articles and information that you see on here on the internet, et cetera, that people say, this is your magic number. This is the number you need to try to get to so that you can retire comfortably, because you don't know how long you're going to live in retirement. There's someone knows that. You don't know how long you're going to live. And of course, we don't know whether we're going to be here tomorrow. We don't know whether at some point, possibly before we retire or in retirement, we may not have some major medical issue happen, or if we have a medical issue now, whether it may get worse, etc. You just don't know for the things that you don't know. If you have a medical condition and you've been dealing with it for a while, of course you know that, and you have baked that into that. Yeah, you. I think for me, I will get to pick my own magic number where I want to be based on those particular things, etc. And then you have to, of course, add, okay, you don't know how long you're going to live, but just kind of sort of plan it out, hoping for the best as always. Of course, you're going to plan for your retirement, I mean, your rents, your mortgage, your utilities, what that is looking like now. If you plan to stay in your home now where you're at, then you know what the deal is already. If you are renting and you plan to continue to rent, then you know what it is. If you at some point say, oh, when I retire, I'm going to move someplace and I'm going to buy a home at that particular time, then you got to do the calculations for that. Uh, and of course, the calculations for all the new stuff that you want to do or plan to do, or you have in your brain right now that you want to do in retirement. Um, Retirement is serious, of course, and even though I'm saying this, the way that I am looking at it, this, if you are deciding on your own magic number and doing the calculation, etc., it's a more, for lack of a better word, viable, more relaxed way of looking at it instead of saying, oh, all of these financial planners, all of these places that sell different types of insurance instruments are saying I need 1.5 million to do. If you go and you look at your life that you are leading and look to the life that you want to lead or have in retirement, do the calculations for that, and then get the number that you need to save each and every month, and hope that with, if you utilize the stock market or interest, or you CD laddering, something or another like that, that it will, those things will help you get there. Of course, knowing that things, the stock market goes up and down, up and down. This is not retirement or financial planning advice at all, period. This is for entertainment purposes only, YouTube, entertainment purposes only. Of course, as with anything, retirement, your budget, you're going to have to plan and then do the work to make it happen. So retirement is serious. And even though I'm saying for me, finding my own number based on all the things that I want to do in retirement, etc., and that is a more relaxed way of doing it. It may or may not be the same for you. You may, think that, okay, if they're saying 1.5 is the magic number, 1.46, 1.5 rounded is the magic number, then I am going to save towards that. And then you would have to pull out a calculator and look at your age and say, by the time I am 65 or 67, or the number or the age that you want to retire, how much money do I need to save each month for that? And then how much money, how much interest compounded over time till I get to that particular age will have earned to make that number happen. However it is that a person wants to do it. Some people, I think for some, they will see that number and say, oh, I only got 50K saved, or only got 100K saved, etc. And I am way, way, way off, etc. And they may be 55 or something other like that. It is what it is. And then they get, frantic and like, oh, I got to do more, I got to do more, I got to do more, I got to say more, etc., etc. And then that can cause health problems. And if you're 55 and you got 10 more or 12 more years before it's done, and you don't think you're going to get there, in my brain, don't stress yourself out. Just continue to do what it is that you are doing. If you can do extra, put the money towards that. Don't give yourself a heart attack and die, and then it's a mute point. That's just all that I am saying. I'm not saying don't take retirement serious. It is a serious thing. But I think coming up with your own number after you do the research, and I'm saying you're coming up with your own number. Say, for example, you are 50 now and you come up with your own number today. That number may change or move, etc. But if you come up with a number today, do all the calculations, etc., for what it is at this point in time you think you want your retirement to look like, then start saving that particular amount. If you got the 401k and they do a match, do that. Do all the things that you need to do. Look for all the different type of investments that you can do, and earning more income if that is the thing that you want to do also, into to plan and prepare for your magic number that you decided on at 55. At 60, something in your life may change and you may need to change that number, or it's possible that you may lose your job and you just stop saving for retirement totally. So life is happening all the time. And of course, we're going to account for the higher cost of things as time goes along. Food, clothing, and shelter is always going up. And in this article, it is saying blaming inflation as to the reason that the number has shifted, because it does give a chart with regards to um, what the magic number was in these particular times, and they were basing it on, I guess, if the person retired at 65 or 67, and it was well, I think this thing says 7%, but the magic number in 2020 was that you needed 951,000 uh, to retire comfortably. And that word is subjective, depending on who you are and where you're living. 951,000 may not be enough if you are like living in New York, and this, besides your Social Security that you get based on whatever job you had, this may not be enough. It just depends, and the lifestyle you want to lead. So kind of sort of having an idea and planning all the things that you would like to do in retirement and getting, numbers to it so you can start saving towards it is going to be a good thing. 2021, it was 1,050,000. In 2022, it was 1.2 million. 2023, 1.27 million. And now in 2024, they're saying it's going to be 1.46. So yeah, inflation, they mentioned in the story, is a big part of this. It's a great article from AARP, if I didn't mention it, under their retirement thing. AARP is the people that published this report. AARP, inflation weighs heavily. Yes, 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 and yes again, of course. These prices are crazy. And of course, when the price goes up, don't plan on the prices coming down. What else is this article saying? Falling short. This is a nice little section that they mentioned. Given the growing gap between Americans' actual savings and what they perceive they'll need for a secure retirement, it's not surprising that many lack confidence that they can catch up. Fewer than half of boomers and Gen Xers who have not yet retired think they'll be financially ready when they do, according to the Northwestern Mutual Survey. Yeah. Yep. So the managing of your money now is critical. If you're young and you're starting 21, 22, and knowing how to budget, knowing how to manage your money, delaying gratification, et cetera, is going to help you. Not saying don't live, but plan where your money is going to go. Translation, budget. So this particular AARP article is saying that by age 65, and if you get a 7% average return compounded daily on your money, starting at age 20, you need to save $382. These are the amounts per this report. If you retire at 65 and you are getting 7% interest, or 7% average return compounded daily, these are the amounts that you need to save. If you're starting at age 30, you need to save $805. That is a large gap between what this report is saying. If you started at 20, $382, and then if you start at age 30, you need to save $805 a month, and then hope for the 7% average return. If you start at age 40, $1,792. If you start at age 50, $4,586 a month. Yeah. And for most people, most people will get some type of Social Security check, etc. And unless it gets depleted by 2024, which was another article that I think I did a report on here, a video on here. So by 2034, it's supposed to be depleted. Who knows what Congress is going to do? I think that they're going to, print more money, borrow more money, etc., to make it solvent, etc. So people will have their Social Security if you are fortunate enough to work at a place that had a pension then that is great. So you will have your pension and your Social Security. And there are a whole lot of other factors that come into play. I guess if you have a husband or a spouse, I shouldn't just say the husband because the husband's, well, sometimes that is the case that the man normally is no longer here. You get what I'm saying? Before the wife, statistically, but and nothing is concrete, etc. Then they do some fuzzy math to figure out what the retirement. I mean, what the whose Social Security you're going to get. I guess I don't know. Don't want to find out either. But yeah, most people will get Social Security, and if you have the luxury of having a company that provides a pension, that is great also and too. But then you're going to need to have saved, your own money, saved and invested your own money over time. So the 401k is important. And once again, if they do a match, do it, do it, put in the max amount so that you can get the full max that they will be putting into it. That is free money. Don't leave it on the table. It says easing anxiety. While you may not get to $1.5 million in savings, you also might not need that much, which goes back to what it is that I was saying in the beginning. You can decide what your own magic number is. And once you do that, do the calculations for the life that you think right now that you want to have in retirement and go from that. It's good to have a goal in mind. It's always good to have a goal in mind, of course. And like I mentioned, we don't know how long we're going to live. We don't know if we're going to be here even tomorrow. So even if you have a magic number, you've got to consider those things also too. This is not to say don't do anything. Do something. You have to plan for your retirement. And don't depend on Social Security. Maybe deplete it. But like I said, I think that they will make it solve. But just bear in mind that it may not be there. So depend on yourself, number one. So you start doing the 401k and doing the match. You start putting money into whatever type of things you want to put it into, a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA or some other type of thing, insurance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and a whole host of other things. It says figure out your own magic number, which was the big takeaway for me. Figure out your own magic number. And of course, you know yourself. You know what it is that you would like to do in retirement, besides just live. We all want that, but besides doing the basic stuff, eating and having a place to stay, etc., you may want to do other things outside of that because you're working now, you're unable to do to the fullest. And when you're in retirement and you have the time, then you want to be able to, whatever it is, I'll just use travel, go see places, experience different culture, experience authentic food. But of course, a lot of people can do that in the state that they are in because, well, most of the states have a diverse population to where you can find a restaurant that serves hopefully authentic food from their native country. But yeah, this report is saying you will need 1.46 rounded to 1.5 million to retire comfortably, and it's saying that the folks in this particular survey have only saved 88,000. The thing is, and like the article mentioned, and like I mentioned, which was the number one takeaway, you can come up with your own number. That way you can ease the anxiety of all of the retirement stuff, but we still need to do the work. We still need to work. We still need to save and invest our money. We still need to contribute to the 401ks. We still need to have the Roth IRA going. We still need to keep, as time goes on, what Congress is doing with regards to Social Security, etc. And for the young folks out here that right now think/know that Social Security won't be with them, they need to really start saving their money and really focusing on, the future, big time, the future. And when I say young folks, the ones that haven't gotten a job yet, so hopefully their parent is showing them the stuff or telling them these things, and definitely the ones that may have just gotten out of high school, well, out of college, I should say, 21, 22-year-olds, etc. getting that first job, start saving that money because the things that are here now, i.e. Social Security, won't be here in the future, and the 401k may not be there in the future. The job may not be there. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it as always. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you already haven't. Thank you so much for your time as always. I do appreciate it. Take care. Bye bye.